The last day I wrote was August 21st, and today is August 29th.
I'm going somewhere.
I was working on a really fun project. This is Photoshop fully for me, but then as soon as I finished this really quickly, I was like, wait a minute, I can use this for the Kickstarter launch page as well. Literally 50-50 about if I do dual POV or not. I'm sitting on the fence, smack dab in the middle. I have no idea which way this is gonna go. No idea. This is how this week is going. I had cheesy potatoes and iced coffee for lunch, and I'm topping it off with this. I know it's not good. It's been that kind of week. I broke one of the biggest rules in writing a first draft, and I started reading a book. And not just any book, but a book in a series. A really good series, actually. New York Times bestselling series. If you've read this, let me know. I've read it before. This was a reread just because I told a friend about it and then I couldn't get it out of my head, and I was like, I just really want to read a book. One thing you should know about me is I'm an obsessive reader. Once I pick up a book, if it's even remotely good, I can't put it down. I can't do other things. I don't work at all. I haven't written a word all week. I miss sleep because of it. I just read in every spare second. I'm sure there's lots of reasons to avoid, reading during drafting in particular, like, it could influence your first draft, blah, blah, blah. But my reason, my main one for typically I don't let myself read during drafting is because it completely derails me. I lose interest in my book because of this other exciting book and all the curiosity loops that have been opened that I have to know what happens. Actually, probably TV shows too. I try not to start a new TV show that's really good or something like that. But I did it, and here I am. How many days later? The last day I wrote was August 21st, and today is August 29th. And if I don't write today, you can see with my pacemaker app that kind of calculates based on how much I've written, and if I've missed days, that I'm up to almost 1,400 words a day to still meet my goal, which is more than I typically write. Yeah. Now this last writing day right here, August 21st, was actually the day I recorded the 5th vlog about juggling. I had my doctor's appointment, all that good stuff. So I'll link the whole playlist below if you missed the last few vlogs, but that was vlog number 5. Vlog number 4 I had finished this day, and then I published it on Monday, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to know the results from this kind of fun poll that we did in that video. So I'm gonna just hold off on writing and make this an intentional break. But the truth is, there was a lot of stuff going on. We had family in town. The whole weekend was just packed full of fun stuff. I was also not feeling very good pregnancy-wise, and I'm still struggling with that. I just feel like lots and lots more aches and pains this time around. I don't know. And I noticed him carrying her very, very low. So that means lots of trips to the bathroom, if you know what I'm saying. So I just feel like I'm up all night. I have some insomnia. And then let's be real. This was a big part of my problem the last week, because I would stay up way, way, way too late reading these books. And I don't really feel like writing. I feel like I have to go back to that first vlog in this series about when you're having trouble getting started, and just try to go through my bag of tricks all over again to figure out what can get me started, because I think right now what's holding me back, besides these books again, because I just finished the last one last night, one of the poll questions about adding a second POV, that's just been really kind of in the back of my mind. I haven't actually spent a lot of time on it yet, but I've just been I can't worry about the book because I haven't figured that out yet. When I figure that out, I'll worry about the book. Oh my gosh, that braid is terrible. Let me fix it. It's time now. I have no more excuses, no more books to read. Family's not in town anymore. I do still have my little guy, but honestly, I need to just buckle down and start working during naps again, because I have just gotten off track. I haven't been exercising. Just in general, I have not been feeling good. And I feel like if I can get back on track with sleep and exercise, I can probably get back on track with writing as well. So let's talk about the poll in the last video and all the fun thoughts you guys shared. There were so many good comments. I want to share all of them, but instead I'll just say you can go and watch that last video and scroll through, because there were so many good suggestions. But dual POV is our biggest question, and I had kind of mentioned, I don't remember what I said in that video, but I was like, I kind of want to include the guy's POV because he knows so much more. It would be really fun for the reader to know things that our main character, Gal Bryn, right now is what we're calling her, what she doesn't know. And then this guy who, kind of calling him Soren at the moment, Soren knows so much more than her, but he also doesn't know some other things. So it'd be fun to balance that and have the reader know the most. I really love that. I just read this series, right, where this was done so incredibly well. I'm obsessed with book one, the way that she has what she calls the assassin, and then the prince, and of course our main character Leah, and you don't know so many things. Like, she has no idea that they're an assassin and a prince. Zero idea whatsoever. You as the reader know. And then she knows all these things that they don't know. It's just such a fun read. I love the plot twist at the end. There's a few other good books that I will always recommend with a very good plot twisty twist at the end. The Thief by Megan Whalen Turner, and then Prison Healer is another good one. And as a side note, I'm just gonna say this because I can, because it's my channel. I had years and years ago another author kind of make fun of me when I was writing my first draft of the Ginny Key. She was like, you have too many chapters. I don't remember how many chapters I had. It was somewhere in like 50s or 60s, and it was just a first draft, you guys. I don't even know what it is now. I'll have to look, but I like short chapters, so I didn't think it was an issue. And then this other author who I have not spoken to in years and will never see this, but she kind of made fun of me for that, like made me feel like I wasn't a legit author because of that. She's like, no, real books don't have that many chapters. So let me just say chapter 89 and a New York Times best-selling novel. Thank you very much. No, but for real, I just feel like that is a really random thing that I felt like including in this vlog since we're talking about these books. You gotta follow your gut when you're writing your story. And the reason that it's so fun and the reason there are so many chapters is because some of them are very, very short. Literally, he has 2 pages for his chapter here. I'm getting off track. I just felt like sharing that. It has nothing to do with this video. Let's come back to the dual POV question because you guys had a lot of really helpful comments. Let's read through them. Knowing bits and pieces of Soren's POV will open up more questions and more about the Fae as a people. That was a really good point. And then I like dual POV because sometimes female characters can be frustrating and he doesn't have to be a reliable narrator. You could have tons of stuff that he knows that he is choosing not to share with the reader. Those plot twisty things that we talked about. So that is a very good point as well. I just lost count of how many people voted for dual POV. It was almost everybody. I only found, where did it go? I might be missing something because I'm just kind of scrolling through trying to like be quick right now, but so far I only found 1 vote for single POV, which is wild. I am shocked that so many of you like dual POV, and there were a couple really good suggestions as well. Like Jen said, the POV could depend on the tone you're going for. It really will change things if they are uncertain about the love interest. That'll change how they feel about him, especially given that Bryn, our main character, is distrustful of everybody. That might make the reader distrustful too. She suggested you could include it later, which I saw somebody else say as well. Loved a single chapter at the end, like a fun scene from the male perspective, like in the Queen's Rise Omnibus. There's this guy right here, in case you don't know, and I loved writing that excerpt, or bonus scene, I guess technically is what it's called, at the end, because I'm just gonna reveal something to you that is gonna sound wild. I didn't totally know, it's a long one too, I didn't totally know why Coda was doing what he was doing until I wrote this. Like, I knew he had his reasons, but then I wrote this amazing, really long scene from him. And I was like, wow, that just changed everything. That just made Jezebel's seemingly very smart decision really stupid. If she would only have talked to him. Miscommunication trope, right? Not really, but a little bit the miscommunication trope. And then another suggestion was that I could use it as like a novella, a side story, or even something in my newsletter. So there was a ton of good ideas. I'm doing dual POV where it's first person and then third person. I personally have only seen that done once, and I really did not like the book that they did that in at all. It was just very jarring for me. But when I actually finished reading you guys' comments and I was like, crap, I have to make a decision. I have to actually do something. And I sat down to think about it. I almost instantly was like, this is gonna be an issue, because I really felt like I wanted dual POV. And obviously so do you guys now. So now I feel like if I don't do it, I'm gonna let you down. But when I actually thought about it, like, what would his scene be? Okay, so he's discovering that she's there sleeping blah, blah, blah. He doesn't do anything about it. That's very passive. He doesn't talk to her. That's very passive. So like, what is that scene even going to be if I show him like being like, oh, I found her sleeping. I found clues that she was here, kind of like little Goldilocks situation almost. How do I make that interesting and active so that it's enjoyable to read? Because it's very passive in the moment, what I'm picturing. Or if I had him, you know, maybe I was like, okay, so I want to use his POV to show the reader more about the Fae world. So maybe I show him going to court and some of the stuff that I wrote where she knows that he left, but she doesn't know where he went. I could show that. I could show his plans. I could show him talking to his group of friends and them scheming, but it's all talk. It's all passive. There's no action yet. And that is what's giving me pause. So I thought about it and I'm like, well, at this point, and I kind of said this to people in the comments too, I was like, at this point, the worst that can happen is if I write something, I don't like it, but I still learned about his character. Say I don't like it, but I was like, oh, I had no idea that he was planning that. Oh, I had no idea he thinks this way. Oh, I had no idea his past was this way. So it's still gonna be valuable to try, and I wanna attempt it. But I don't know if I want to attempt it after a week of not writing, because then it's just like adding another day of potentially words that don't count towards the story. And then there is, I don't have the book in here with me anymore, but Story Genius we talked about before, and how she had those kind of flashback scenes to their misbelief and where it got started and what went wrong. And I know in theory his misbelief would have started when he got sent from his court to the other fairy court. I think he is unseelie, I think. And then he gets sent to the Seelie court with his friends. So they're all unseelie, sent here, nobody likes them. It's gonna really contribute to his misbelief that he's like not wanted and all the other stuff that I brainstormed with you guys last October. But I don't know, I just can't picture. I'm just torn, because do I write those scenes? Do I get to know him? Sometimes this is the thing with being a writer, it's really hard to put time in on something that's not trackable, so it feels like wasted time. This is very much an Enneagram 3 personality, by the way. You might feel totally different, that's okay. But for me, I like to have trackable work. I like to see results, and that makes me feel like I did worthwhile work. And I should also show you how many notes that I took. It's just wild. Last time, a whole week ago, when I finished, let me zoom in just a little bit, I wrote 4 brand new pages of notes. So I had like used all my notes prior to that and written those scenes. Then I wrote 4 brand new pages of things that are coming next that I was excited about, which I don't even remember what it is right now. This vlog is just gonna be me sitting here staring into space because I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know what to do. Maybe I just let myself, instead of being like, oh, I have to write this huge epic scene, like a whole chapter for him, maybe I just try out his voice for a couple paragraphs, just the ones where he discovers her and how does he react. This is my Butterbook folder, in case you're curious. I have all the surveys from the live streams in this little folder, and then I have got my Butterbook outline, like a copy of the one from the live stream. The world is down here with some pictures and descriptions. Characters are over here. I have some random pictures I saved. Oh, I think that's the actual Butterbook brainstorming doc right there. And then this is my little like backstory document. Let me click on it to show you more. I gave you a sneak peek of this in, I think, the second vlog, where I actually showed you the main character's backstory. That's the yellow here. But then I also had blue for the love interest, aka Soren right now. All the names that he could have, as you can see there. But besides this very first like day his misbelief formed, where you can see I've got bullet pointed a lot of thoughts, I don't have any other places where his belief or his misbelief was confirmed. But I'm thinking one would for sure be how people react to him when he first arrives in the Seelie court. Kind of confirms that he's like not valuable to them. They give him a job that's like at the bottom of the totem pole or whatever. The reason I bring this up is I'm thinking, well, what draws him to this girl? Does she contradict his misbelief? Does she make him feel valuable? Probably not when she's an Enneagram 8 who doesn't trust him. But maybe by accident she does. If she's like, I know you have information, and like that could kind of make somebody feel like wanted, even if it's kind of in a negative way. Like they only want me for what I know, not for like me as a person, but it still counts a little bit for an Enneagram 3, unfortunately, especially if they're coming from like an unhealthy place versus a healthy place. And I'm just rambling over here, so don't mind me. I need to try to write some things about him. I just need to get to know him. I'm just repeating myself to you because I don't want to do it. and I need to just do it. But before I sit down and attempt to write, let's also really quick chat about the other 3 fun poll questions I asked back in the 4th vlog. Pretty much everybody was saying, yeah, that doesn't sound like a cozy fantasy because the stakes are too high. That's fine. I feel like hearing you guys confirm that for me helped me to just let it go and be fine with it. It's not a big deal. But I do appreciate that a lot of you were like, keep the comedy. It's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be fun. And some people mentioned Apprentice to the Villain, which is a great example of like high stakes, very high, but it's also a lot of comedy. So that's really fun, and that's a good comp potentially as well. You never know. After I asked you guys if it should be funny, I had a very strong moment of insecurity where I was like, do I even know how to do that? I don't know. So I'm not gonna promise you a funny book because it might turn out I'm not funny. I don't know. We'll find out. But I am gonna give it a shot, and then I'm gonna have critique partners and beta readers like help me figure out if I'm succeeding or not. And then the last one that not a lot of people chimed in on, but I was like, does this sound like a portal fantasy to you guys? And the few people who did chime in were like, yeah, seems like it makes sense as a portal fantasy, which again, that's really a marketing question for down the road, but it helps to know these things when you're writing and editing because you can actually lean into some of the tropes and reader expectations if you know that they exist. If you're like, oh, readers are gonna think this is a portal fantasy, let's make it even more portal-y. You know what I mean? So it does help to know some of these decisions that feel like they're down the road. It can help to know them in advance a little bit. Anyway, thank you to everybody who voted in the comments. It was so much fun to read, and I just want to keep procrastinating and chat with you more, but I know I need to just try something, right? So if you could like give me a kick in the butt, that would be great. The question about if I write dual POV or not, I've been rambling to you as a way to hopefully like talk myself into the answer, but so far that has not worked. Talking it through is just not going to help me the way that writing it would. So I'm going to attempt to write some things.
I can try if you let me. Without lives I am bleeding. Who am I without stories that aren't mine? What I did to achieve you gave me air, thought I had to. I'm untrue, it's not pretty, the truth hurts.
Okay, my little guy is up, but I wanted to update you really quick. I did 1, 2, 3, not bonus scenes, what's the word I'm looking for? Backstory scenes that we talked about. I tried really hard not to let myself worry about the writing being good, or even if I knew him well, or if any of it was even right, just like get to know him, see what comes out. And that first one where his parents send him off to the unseelie court, I was like, oh, this is not actually a first misbelief forming. This feels like he would have had this misbelief for a long time, that he has to do what they want to be valuable to them, and he has to just be the best. And so then I tried to go backwards, and I kind of came up with a very rough thing where maybe he has an older brother, he's not the firstborn, and maybe his older brother is actually the one who's like getting all this attention, and he finds that he's sort of competing, and that's how he figures out that he needs to be the best to be valuable to them. And then I wrote the one where he arrived in the Seelie court, and that was kind of fun to write because I was like, oh, this is some surprising information that's coming out of me as I brainstorm the differences between the two courts. I don't know if that one will work out very well, but I kind of liked how it confirmed his belief in a different way, where instead of like doing something to be valuable and seeing that it worked, he did something to annoy them and saw that that worked and he was not valuable to them because they didn't like him, if that makes sense. Anyhow, then I was running out of time, so I decided to actually attempt the like in the story POV, one that would actually be potentially a chapter if it worked. And so I won't show you that one because I don't want to give anything away, but that last 4th scene ended up being 556 words, so it actually ended up being the most I wrote all day. And it's more active than I expected, which is cool, but it still has a lot of gaping holes because I kind of skipped over some things because I don't have time to figure this out right now. Essentially don't really have an answer yet. I need to think about this. I need to come back to it maybe tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, this is not a quick decision. I really did think that as soon as I wrote it, I would know one way or the other, but I don't know. It's definitely coming across more active. I can't know if his POV is important until I figure out what the heck he knows. This is one of those times in brainstorming and just writing in general where I don't feel like there's anything guiding my decision, if that makes sense. It's like this, it's this gaping hole, and I don't have any sense of direction on how to fill it. But really, I think there would be direction if I get to know him as a character. Because if I know what he wants, his goals, his needs, his misbelief, all of that stuff, and if I continue to brainstorm that more, get to know his history, I think it will be very obvious then what he wants to do in court, how he wants to disrupt them. Does he want to do it in a way that makes them think, wow, he's really smart? Or does he just want to like tear everything down? Or does he not actually plan to tear everything down and that's going to happen by accident because he was actually trying to make his family proud of him there? So he's trying not to mess everything up, but he does anyway. I don't know. Clearly, I need to get to know him more. So this is not over. We'll come back tomorrow.
Let's stop coming down a big train.
Are you singing?
I don't bonk my head.
You didn't bump your head?
I'm just sitting there.
Oh good, I'm so glad you're just sitting there.
But I want to play for 1 minute.
Want to play for 1 minute in your bed?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Oh, we're jumping, huh? What you gonna do?
I'm going somewhere.
You're going somewhere? Okay.
I'm going.
Okay. Okay, I just put my son to bed and I was working on a really fun project. Let me show you. This is Photoshop, and you guys know that I designed my other book covers here in Photoshop, and so I don't remember a lot of my skills, and clearly this is not gonna be the title, okay? This is a joke. But honestly, this made me so happy. This was a little reward for getting back into it, because sometimes you just need a reward, you know what I mean? You can see like this one overlapping the O. This is the B right here. See? Pop it in front. Boop boop. I have no idea why the O is still showing up a little bit, but I kind of like it. And then there's the tip of the K right there. I just made it look like it's falling behind the leaves. This is thrown together in 10 minutes, and I obviously wanted to put, this is not the official title or the official cover, because I don't want anybody to think, oh, it's actually called The Butter Book and blah, blah, blah. But I just wanted something fun to make me happy. So this was fully for me. But then as soon as I finished this really quickly, I was like, wait a minute, I can use this for the Kickstarter launch page as well. The current launch page is this right here, which is really not my best graphic design work, okay? I get that. This came from Canva. There's 155 followers at this point. I really need to get a better graphic here. And I'm not sure if I'm really supposed to be having these actual images on it anyway. So I looked up the size for the Kickstarter banner or project image or whatever, and I made this. And I hate to say this because the official title and cover coming soon. I don't know what else to put there, but soon is probably an exaggeration. I just want you to be aware. I'm just not sure what else I would put, like, this is not the official title and cover sounds a little weird. And I put these quotation marks around, and I did a little tiny bit of hiding for those as well, because I was like, I don't want people to think this is the actual title. So here's my pre-launch page in case you're curious. Scroll down here to the image, delete that one, replace it with the one that says PNG right here. See, doesn't that look so much better? I realize the title is still ridiculous. Like, what Fae book has ever been called The Butter Book? That just sounds stupid. But let me click preview. Oh my god. I just love it so much. It just looks so much more official, right? I'm obsessed. I need to go send this to somebody. This makes me excited to write, and that's the whole purpose of doing this. If you enjoy things like this, you can also use Canva. This is what I used before I learned how to use Photoshop, and this was my attempt over here at making a butter book. I just literally searched leaves in the elements, and I threw on a bunch of different leaves on a black background, and I picked a font that I kind of liked, but clearly this is better. Photoshop is definitely better. And I didn't plan on saying this in this particular video, but I actually am an affiliate for my friend Mandy's course, where she taught me how to do this typography specifically. I did the typography on the Queen's Rise here as well, thanks to her and her course. So highly recommend her course, and I'll link my affiliate link below if you want to use it. It kind of supports me while also helping you. No pressure, of course, but if you're interested at all, I definitely recommend her courses. I got a lot out of them. That was just an unexpected plug right there. Ugh, I can't breathe. Let me resituate here because I am so uncomfortable. My hubby's gonna be back from the gym at any minute, so I really should just utilize the last few minutes here to brainstorm the story some more, and I'm gonna sleep on it too and just come back to it tomorrow because I am literally 50-50 about if I do dual POV or not. I'm sitting on the fence, smack dab in the middle. I have no idea which way this is gonna go. No idea. And that's weird for me because usually, like with The Stolen Kingdom, I just had a gut instinct. I was like, it's another POV, and I know it. And I enjoy multi-POVs. I want it to be a multi-POV. I know romantasy tends to be multi-POV because I think it's kind of copying off of contemporary rom-coms and how they almost always, as far as every single rom-com that I've read, I think. Oh no, that's not true. I can think of at least one contemporary like rom-com. I think it's called The Do-Over that did not have 2 POVs. So that's not entirely true, but it's just super common in contemporary, specifically romance, I feel like I've seen, because it just shows both aspects so much better. Especially, I was thinking this out loud to my critique partner, it's especially because of the miscommunication trope and how when characters don't talk to each other and they don't communicate, the reader at least can know that something is being skipped over here, which honestly, that trope can frustrate people. So I do not want to do it in a frustrating way, but I can see how sometimes they legitimately hold things back if they don't trust somebody, which will be the case for both of these characters. I want to say, like, you guys are swaying me one way or the other, but obviously I know that you want as much as I do for it to be right for the story, and I can see valid arguments on both sides. So here I am just staring at my new Kickstarter launch page. Looks so good. I just love it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, by the way, this is just like a notification page. Basically, you can sign up to get notified when the book is done. Because I think I'm gonna do Kickstarter before I do anything else. I just loved Kickstarter so much last time. But I was talking to my hubby and I was kind of second guessing it. Like, I'm gonna be really vulnerable with you guys. I told him, what if this book did better than any of my other books? What if it could be a bestseller? Like, that is my dream. And I just know that seeing you guys get so excited about it is really getting me amped up about the story and wanting to get it done sooner and make it the best it can possibly be. And I just want a little bit, I think the Enneagram 3 in me wants the validation of bestseller, but also I would just love to know that a book is so beloved that it becomes an obsession book. That's truly my dream. And it's literally just another word for butter book, right? Before I knew about the butter book terminology, I used to call it an obsession book. So anyway, my hubby just got home. I'll check in with you guys again tomorrow. It's Friday, August 30th, the next day. I spent a lot of time, a lot of time is an exaggeration, a little bit of time thinking about this problem. But if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, it kind of hit me last night that The Queen's Rise is coming out in a month. Like, by the time you see this video, because I'm trying to be 2 weeks ahead, which by the way, it's very confusing when I'm going to schedule the videos and then talk to you and it's like, okay, I'm 2 weeks ahead, so here's what they're gonna know at this point. It's confusing me. But I realized that it'll only be like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember, let me look. Okay, if this video goes out as planned, it'll be the second week of September sometime. I was joking on Instagram, I was like, I'll use my futuristic skill to plan everything out, but I really don't have that. And I feel like it occurred to me last night, I'm like, there's so many things coming up that I'm gonna miss the boat. Like, for example, Storygram Tour, I already sent the books out for that, and that's gonna be running the week after this video, I think. Maybe, we'll see. And then I also am finalizing the details of the other tour, and I will have to send these books out. So I'm like, well, I should take pictures today while I still have this pretty book stack. I can do something fun, you know, like lots of fun things with a tiny stack of books that I can use throughout the month as promo. And then I was like, well, I should make some graphics too, of like maybe a new tropes graphic for the book. What else? Oh my gosh, the pre-order campaign. I have to get that set in stone like this weekend so that I can announce it on Monday. And right now I'm like, I can use my postcards that I had for the Kickstarter. I still have a good, like way more of the one set for some reason. I'm not sure why. A lot of these. I don't know why I have so many of these. It feels like so many. But I'm like, I can use these, and I'm thinking I still have at least one Amazon gift card that I could include in the giveaway. Pre-order campaigns are super common for both TradPub and indie authors. It's just a way of being like, here's a gift for pre-ordering as a thank you. All you have to do to either get the gift in this case or enter to win if it's a giveaway is just submit your receipt to show that you did purchase the book. That's the entry. So it's not against Amazon rules. I feel like there's always somebody who asks me that, but these are really fun because I already have them, so I feel like that's a given. I just have to count how many I have, or I could just say supplies are limited. That should be fine because I feel like I probably won't go through all of this, right? I probably won't go through all of this. I'll probably still have leftovers. And then I still have annotated chapters, which are super fun. And I was like, well, I've had these for over a year now, so I could share the first one in my newsletter, which maybe I'll do that right after this video comes out so that you can sign up for my newsletter if you want to see it, and just share just the first annotated chapter, but I actually have 5, so it'll be kind of like a fun teaser. And I think that should be enough. So then I just have to make some graphics for that to make it look pretty and be like, do you want to join? And this is like your incentive because after the book is out, you don't get these goodies anymore. So this is why you should pre-order. My desk is pure chaos, but yes, I still have some Amazon gift cards. Some of these are for my street team, but they're all something that I got through my cash back through my bank. So I'm like, I'm gonna use these for my book release. Then last night I was making my promo plans, right? So the pink is like really big to-dos. The blue are the videos coming out, hopefully on these days. And then the yellow are like things I need to do for the video. So I haven't fully fleshed this out. This is just what I was brainstorming last night. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're right here the Friday before. It's like, it's gonna kick into high gear and things need to get done. And when did I start writing the Butter book? Oh, look at Pacemaker. I started the Butter book on July 24th. So I've been writing this for over a month already. And I'm at, hold on, in the Word document, including my 4 pages of notes here at the end, I'm at just over 20K words. So that means like if I stay on track and if I get faster, hopefully, I might finish in another month. But that is the month leading up to the release. So it's like, do I write the Butter book or do I focus on marketing this, which I have been slacking on? And I'm like, you know what? You can't talk about a book and be like, you guys should get it, and then just hope that they remember for the next few months, because that's not fair to anybody. I wouldn't remember. But I do have to admit, I'm a little nervous that the price point is going to chase people away, because I don't know if everybody realizes that there's like 3 books in here, plus 2 bonus scenes, plus a playlist, plus the character art, and a map of Jin. So it's just like, I don't know if people realize it's like essentially a premium product or whatever you want to call it. 3 books in one. It's like, those would cost, I should make a graphic for that actually. That would be genius. I need to write that down or I'll forget. I already forgot the other one. Shoot. What was I telling you? Oh my gosh, pregnancy brain is the worst. I can't remember. Thankfully I recorded it, so at some point I'll remember when I'm editing this video. But anyhow, got some graphics to do. Got so many papers to sort through and all my ideas. Here are my notes for what I wanted to remember to share in this video. Mostly just a summary of the second POV and how I'm feeling about it, which is I'm leaning towards yes. But I'm still not 1000% sure. But when I read through the chunk that I put in the Google Doc yesterday, because I did some of his backstory scenes that won't be in the book, and then I did one brainstorming scene that's not super well written that could be his first scene in the book, I reread it and I was like, okay, there's potential here. This is actually really interesting. It's more active than I expected. It's more fun to read than I expected. And I do really enjoy writing dual POVs. I realize that a lot of my books have that. And my critique partner was super sweet. She said that I do a good job of writing the guy's perspective, which I really appreciated a lot. And then she also gave me some good advice where she was like, if you do it, make sure he has his own arc, and that'll really help it feel like there's a purpose for it as well. So that was really encouraging, and I feel like my overall summary is I think I can make it work. It's just gonna be so much more that I need to know. So I think I need to spend this weekend brainstorming and just do a whole, you know, take the time to just think about the book, which is hard because, like I said, there's also all the release stuff that I need to do that is definitely beginning to occupy brain space and take up a lot of thought here, because I'm like pre-order campaign, giveaways, the tour, taking pictures, getting all the Instagram stuff, getting graphics ready, getting back to social media in general, doing a newsletter once a week during release month or leading up to. Yeah, I'm just like, I don't feel like as a mom I have brain space for more than one thing. So maybe I need to just take some time to give this book the attention that it deserves and then come back to the butter book, because again, there's no deadline for the butter book, and maybe just sitting on it will lead to some ideas. I don't know. I guess this is one of those things that we're gonna have to find out together. So I'll keep you posted.